we're going to look at another document which might give you some idea of why Kenneth was recruited. Kenneth's actual police record.
Registry, City of Glasgow Police Force. Kenneth Mackenzie. Is that farm servant?
Yes.
Age 29, 5'10". That's the same height as me.
Paul has discovered that his great-great-grandfather, Alexander Mackenzie, who lived in Liverpool, was born in Glasgow. He now hopes to find out who Alexander's father was. Paul has arrived in Glasgow and has come to the old docks to meet historian Dr. Bill Knox.
I wonder if we could start by showing you this birth certificate of your great-great-grandfather.
1856 births in the district of Clyde. Alexander Mackenzie. Kenneth? Is that Kenneth?
Yes, Alexander's father, Kenneth Mackenzie.
Okay.
And I want to show you this other document.
And this is?
A marriage certificate.
Kenneth Mackenzie. Police officer?
Yes.
What's that next word?
Glasgow.
So Kenneth Mackenzie was a police officer in Glasgow?
Yeah. You might wonder how he ended up in the police and how did the police come about? Because
he's quite new then.
The Glasgow police were around since 1800. They were the first city in Britain to have a professional paid police force. 29 years before Sir Robert Peel set up the Metropolitan Police in London. Now, Kenneth as a policeman would have been operating in mid-19th century Glasgow. And Glasgow at that time was described by one politician as the nearest suburb to hell. It was shockingly polluted, there was overcrowding, disease, you name it, poverty, Glasgow had it. Now, here's a photograph that might give you some idea of the environment in Glasgow at this time.
Wow. It almost looks like one of the Lowry paintings, doesn't it? That must have been quite a rough job then.
It was a rough job. It was a difficult job.
The Glasgow police force was the first in Britain. It was set up and paid for by the middle classes, who were afraid that the poor would revolt over their squalid living conditions. Men like Kenneth were recruited for their lack of education, making them more willing to take orders and accept low pay.
The other thing was that they wanted physically imposing specimens. So we're going to look at another document which might give you some idea of why Kenneth was recruited. Kenneth's actual police record.
Registry, City of Glasgow Police Force. Kenneth Mackenzie. Is that farm servant?
Yes.
Age 29, 5'10". That's the same height as me. Place of birth. Rossshire.
Yeah. He came from the Highlands, Eastern Highlands. And Highlanders were much stronger and fitter than men in Glasgow. To the Glasgow population, they seemed like giants. The average height a Glaswegian male in mid-19th century would be about 5'5". So there was an opportunity for them to come to Glasgow and find regular work.
So the police officers at the time, would they have lived in almost a separate area to the rest of the people, or were they just integrated with everybody?
No, they had to live in the area of their beat. And Kenneth had one of the most difficult beats in Glasgow. That was the dock areas.
The docks were notoriously difficult to police, as they had a reputation for drunken violence, theft, gambling, prostitution, and smuggling. Kenneth had to keep his wits about him during 10-hour shifts every night of the week.
They must have been quite a tough group, the police officers, as a group.
It was more brawn than brain.
None taken, Bill. On behalf of my great-great-great-grandfather. OK. He was a bit of a meathead that came down from the Highlands, but did a good job. I'd like to think he did a good job for Glasgow.
Well, let's have a look at another part of the police record that you haven't seen yet.
Dates of reports against and remarks in favour of. August the 31st, 1852. Found drinking in public house. He was fined.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
On duty.
Oh, on duty. Assault of a prisoner in his charge. Improper conduct when on duty. Now, what does that mean?
Could mean anything.
And the last one is worse of liquor, receiving 4 pennies as a fee. Dismissed the service. What, he was chucked out?
Yeah. Dismissal was a common occurrence in the police force. I mean, you had about just over a third of the police would leave in any one year.
You know, drinking in a public house, assault of a prisoner, improper conduct when on duty, and then worse of liquor. 3 of the 4 are drink related, and probably the last one is as well.
Well, it doesn't surprise me because drink culture was endemic in Scotland in the 19th century. Maybe it still is. The other thing was that alcohol was preferable to water, because until you got clean drinking water, it was better giving children beer than it was giving them water.
See, this is what he's thinking. And this is what he's thinking, and I totally understand that, because he didn't trust the water, and because he came from the Highlands, you could drink from a stream. He comes here, he can't drink from a stream, so he has a drink. He's doing exactly what everyone would have done. I mean, actually...
Dismissed.
Yes. Oh, that's a shame. So do you know what happened to him after that?
What he decided was to move to Liverpool.
So Kenneth moved down to Liverpool. He took Alexander with him, and then he stayed down there.
No, in later life, Kenneth actually returns another part of Glasgow, and that's where I'd like to take you next.
Lead on.
I've got one final document which I want to show you, which points to Kenneth's last days. And could I direct you to this line here?
He died in the poorhouse on the 9th of the 4th, 1893.
This was his last resting place, the Govan Poorhouse, and this is where Kenneth ended his days. To come here, he must have been incredibly desperate, because only destitution in the 19th century was recognised as poverty, so he had no resources, no one to rely on, nothing to draw on. So he came here in an act of desperation.
What is this? It just says statements of particulars.
This is an application he's put in for poor relief to enter the poorhouse.
Now, the date of the notice is the 7th of April, 1893.
Yeah.
He died in the poorhouse on the 9th, 2 days later.
Yeah.
He tried to get in, got in, and then died 2 days later.
Yeah. The other thing that's valuable about this document is the fact that you can push your generation even further back, because here it tells you the parents' names.
Donald Mackenzie, a crofter. Is that a peasant?
Yeah.
A peasant.
And his place of birth?
Purlieu, parish of Gairloch, Rossshire. So we can take it back another generation.
Yep.
It's so sad. I mean, Kenneth, at the end of the day, hasn't set a good example for his kids. We know Alexander was an alcoholic, and it seems he's got it from his father. That's 2 generations up the wall because of drink.